Are they conflicting comments? Maybe not. Let's ask my spin doctor today, member of the Israeli parliament from the opposition Blue and White Party, Yorai Lahav Hertzanu, former member of the Israeli parliament from the Kulanu Party, Azaria, and political strategist and advisor, Jeremy Saltan. Thanks, guys. It's great to see you. Thanks for coming on the show again. Yorai, let me start with you. Those two statements that we just showed in that opening clip, how do you read them?
A continuation of a conflicting Netanyahu, on the one hand saying no, and on the other hand saying yes and doing yes. Let us all be reminded that during Netanyahu's time, more Israelis have been evicted from their houses than throughout the times.
In the West Bank, you mean?
In the West Bank. And throughout the times, he's leading a weak policy towards Israel's security, and he's going to evict more houses if he's going to be pressured by the Americans or by other forces or
But you can compare that to the eviction of what happened in Gaza under. I mean, that's a different.
You're talking about Gush Katif.
The Gaza disengagement in 2005. That's
what, Ami, I want to ask you a
5,000 or
question.
7,000, I think.
What did Netanyahu vote in the on
he
that
voted
issue?
For it, I know.
Yeah, so he voted it, and then he said that he's against it. So we're talking about conflicting Netanyahu.
Conflicting Netanyahu, Rachel. What do you think?
That's true, but I just want to remind that probably every prime minister we ever had the same kind of conflict. Rabin said nothing would be, Din and Netzarim and Tel Aviv is the same thing.
But it's so obvious in the space of a few hours.
Said it. But it's just, we're in an impossible situation where on one hand, or Netanyahu is in an impossible situation, on the one hand, you can't say you're going to evacuate, but on the other hand, everyone knows that one day some settlements will be evacuated. So that's kind of...
So it's a facade.
But yeah, but I can say that this is breaking records, saying it in such a short gap.
Jeremy?
I think that it's very clear Netanyahu is saying what he would like to see happen, and then he's saying, well, there's the Americans, so we'll wait to hear what they have to say. So I don't think they're conflicting.
They're not conflicting.
They're not conflicting. He's saying what he would like, and then he's saying, but there's a caveat.
So it's just for
you have to wait for the Americans.
The people in front of him want to let them hear what they want to hear.
Oh, Ami, it's called campaigning. We have an election.
Okay.
That's called lying.
That's called lying.
Yeah, and he breathes as he lies. I mean, it's part of the political campaign that he's lying about, but this is people's life you're talking about.
Okay, we have to go for a break.
People should vote.
We have to go for a break. When we come back, more with my guest on that and on what Israel's new education minister thinks about Jews in the United States marrying out of their religion, and Israeli politicians take the bottle cap challenge. How'd they do? That's coming up next.
Stories. Stories that touch your heart and open your eyes. Stories that take you on a journey and show you something you will never forget. Look through the lens and see what others see. High definition, documentaries and discussions that connect us all. Watch High Definition, only on i24news.
Michael, what happened to TV news?
Hell of a first question. You're trying to shoot the stand-up, and the guy comes behind you, and he's yelling Baba Booey.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, or worse than that.
Steve, did you kill Elvis?
The world thought I was Jack the Ripper.
I'm Jordana Miller at i24 News. Join me for the Holy Land Uncovered, a look at this remarkable land filled with so much faith and history and archaeology.
Watch Holy Land Uncovered, only on i24 News.
I'm Nurit Ben.
And I'm Kalev Ben David.
Join us right here on The Rundown for the global headlines defining the day.
Plus in-depth interviews and debates that take you inside the Middle East.
To the stories born out of this region and the massive impact they have all the way to Washington.
The Rundown on i24 News.
Where the Middle East meets the world.
We're back on the spin room with my guest, member of the Israeli parliament, Yorai Lahav Hertzanu, former MP, Rachel Azaria, and political strategist Jeremy Saltan. And we're talking about what the Prime Minister said yesterday about evacuating settlements or not evacuating settlements. I want to go back to you, Yorai. Give me a picture. What would your party be doing differently when it comes to Palestinian conflict?
we would, first of all, be active and not being passive. Throughout the years of Netanyahu, we're seeing passiveness of the Israeli government, waiting for someone to bring us plans so we can refuse and negate and affirm. We need to be actively seeking Israel's future as a Jewish and democratic country, which means that we have to separate between Israelis and Palestinians. Jerusalem is the main capital of Israel. It's not going to be...
It's a two-state solution. Kind of sounds like a two-state solution.
You would call it a two-state solution. We are talking about
Does your colleague, former Defense Minister Bogi Ya'alon, agree with you?
There is a platform for blue and white. Everyone signed on that platform. And we're saying there that Israel needs to be secured. Israel's border needs to be secured. Security is the main principle in every future arrangement. Okay. And we have to have Israel's security.
Jeremy, I mean, if the opposition was in power and Benny Gantz was in power, Prime Minister, what would he be doing?
I'm not sure what that position is, though, to be honest. I'm not sure if you're calling for a disengagement or direct talks with Abbas, because you're talking about being active.
No, we're talking about...
So how can you be active without talking to someone or taking a unilateral position?
I'll answer. We're talking about bringing a regional solution, a convention with the moderate Arab countries, with the United States, with the European Union. But we need to do it with us and with the Arab moderate countries. We need to be proactive in finding a solution that would secure Israel's future.
Well, I'm just hearing proactive and I'm not hearing much essence there. Go ahead, Rachel.
I'll say Tony Blair a couple of years ago said that the way that the peace process was perceived during the Oslo Accords is that you get to an agreement and then you solve the problems. And he says the way he believes, and I agree, is that first you have to solve the problems, then you can reach an agreement. And I think that what we're missing now is proactive work towards and not necessarily an agreement, but towards cooperation between the Palestinian Authority and between Israel. And I think that's what we're supposed to work towards. Economic cooperation, building cooperation, everything. We need to find a way to realize that we can work together and we can find a way to... I think economically, definitely. I think in so many ways, health, education, economy, of course.
I agree with Rachel's approach. I think that we can agree on 90% of the issues on the table and we can reach an agreement based on 90% of the issues. At the 10 remaining, we can continue the discussion afterwards, but we have to be proactive in that process.
All right, I want to move on.
I think that's optimistic. There's only 10% that we don't agree with, because if it was only 10%, we probably would have gotten to an agreement by now, right?
Maybe. Okay, I want to move on to some statements that were made this week that have made quite an uproar from Israel's new education minister, Rav Peretz, from the Union of Right-Wing Parties, who likened intermarriage among diaspora Jews, particularly North American Jews, to the Holocaust. He said that, quote, assimilation is like a second Holocaust. Amazing. Was you shaking your head already, Yorai? What's your reaction to this?
If you would be hearing that comment made by anyone else but the education minister of Israel, we would condemn it as being anti-Semitic. The nomination of Peretz to be the education minister by Netanyahu shows that he's lost it. This is an
Netanyahu has lost it.
Yeah, this is irresponsible. He's an extremist. He thinks that gay people like myself are not equal to other citizens. He thinks that women should not serve in the same combat units as men. This is not supposed to be the education minister of Israel, and this proves once again, that Netanyahu is willing to sell everything, every value, in order to maintain his position and to avoid trial.
What's your reaction, Rachel?
I think that too many politicians in Israel, leaders in Israel, have no idea what's happening in the United States, in the Jewish community in the United States, and that's how you can say such a sentence. That means that probably he has barely met any American Jews. And I can say also, I know he was protesting and he was against the agreement and the Kotel in the Western Wall. That was so important to the American Jewish community. So if the American Jewish community is so important to you that you compare it to the Holocaust, so the right thing to do is to find a way to work together.
I want to take that further and pose this question to Jeremy. There have been statements in past few years, like Tzipi Chotoveli, Deputy Defense Foreign Minister, saying that here on i24news that U.S. Jews don't send their children to the army. There have been ultra-Orthodox throughout the years who have literally mocking U.S. Reformed Jews. Is there some kind of need of right-wing politicians, specifically Orthodox politicians, to insult American Jews?
I think, first of all, it's very unfortunate, the comments that we heard from Rabbi Peretz. Obviously, there's no place in the Israeli political discourse to bring the Holocaust and attach it to any issue at all.
But why do we see this phenomenon throughout the years of belittling American Jews?
I think that, unfortunately, there are a lot of Israeli Orthodox on the right, but not only on the right, that just do not know enough diaspora Jews, as Rachel pointed out. there's just a disconnect. You know, as someone who comes from Skokie, Illinois, and I went to a Jewish day school, and I have members of my own class who decided to intermarry.
How do you think your colleagues, your friends and family back there in the States react when they hear statements like this? What does it do? What effect does it have?
When my friends hear that, they're disgusted. A lot of times they get emails, people ask me to explain it. Again, it's a very...
You can never explain. I just say, what I say is I say, listen, Israeli politicians, when they talk about this, just don't listen, you know, because you can never...
I say maybe if they learn some English and they meet some diaspora Jews, they'll be able to evolve on their opinions. But I don't think it's coming from a bad place. I don't think it's coming from an anti-Semitic place. I don't think that Rav Peretz understood when he said what he said, what he was actually saying.
Rabbi Peretz doesn't believe that people who aren't similar to him have a place here in Israel. And this is a continuation to the same policy that the government of Israel is leading, that Israel is not the Jewish homeland to all Jews, irrespective of their beliefs and lifestyles. Israel needs to be the home to Orthodox, Reform, Conservative, secular, gay, straight. No matter who you are, you have a place here.
Israel's the home of all Jews. We have a right of return that's very clear on that. Everyone can find a home here.
Not everyone can marry here.
And I want to move on. Go ahead, wrap it up.
No one can marry. Not everyone can marry here. The Western world, our world, is not open to everyone, and Israel is not doing enough. Our government is not doing enough to secure the freedom that Israel is for all.
I want to move on and talk to show you some numbers. The latest polls. A poll came out today from i24news together with the Midgam Institute, showing that the Blue and White Party and the Likud are both tied for 30 seats. The Arab Joint List gets 11 seats. Yisrael Beitenu, of former Defense Minister Avigdor Lieberman, with 9 seats. United Torah Judaism Party, 7 seats. Shas, 7. Labor Party, 6. The United Right-Wing List Party that we just talked about, 5. The New Right Party with 5. Meretz with 5. And Ehud Barak's Israel Democratic Party just above the threshold with 4 seats. And according to the blocks, if we look at the blocks, the Central Left and Arab Party bloc gets 56 compared to just 55 for the right-wing and ultra-Orthodox parties. At Yisrael Beitenu, they're in the middle, seen as the kingmaker. Rachel, you know, it looks like Lieberman's gamble is working very well. I mean, if last time he was a kingmaker, now he's going to be a much stronger kingmaker, because we saw it in a poll a few weeks ago. We thought 9. Okay, let's see what the next poll says. We've already seen a few polls. Yeah. It's steady. He's up there.
I think what's going on now is that we're towards the end of the days of Netanyahu. I think the entire system is trying to figure out how to deal with this. Netanyahu, his time was an era. You can't ignore it. And I think that always when change happens, it gets very complicated. I can't see who will be able to form a coalition. That's the big question. We're going back to the question of the former elections. How will anyone be able to create a coalition? And even if they'll form a coalition, you'll see that because everyone's looking, you know, towards the next stage after Netanyahu, there'll be a lot of conflicts.
Although Lieberman does seem to be softening a bit to maybe the option of maybe cooperating with the Blue and White Party.
No,
it could happen. It could happen.
I just say he definitely is, and I think that's. So. But I do want to say I think that we're going through some very troubling times, and it's going to take a while.
I want to draw 2 main conclusions from the polls, the recent polls that are published. First of all, that the only alternative to the Likud party, as seen by the polls, is Blue and White. And the second and most important thing is that the biggest party is in the parliament next time is going to form the next government of Israel. And if you want to change Netanyahu as prime minister and see Benny Gantz and Yair Lapid as prime minister, you should vote Blue and White.
Go ahead. I mean, does this Lieberman surge show that these elections are going to be about the relationship between religious and secular Jews? That's what the focus is going to be about?
Lieberman is the only one who has a real active campaign.
Yeah.
Everyone else is doing enough to say that they're actually campaigning, but they're not really investing any money.
They're doing the bottle challenge, which we're going to show pretty soon.
Right. Lieberman, we'll get to that. But Lieberman went ahead and has put a very significant percentage of the amount of funding that he has from the government towards spending now.
Right.
It's like he thinks August 1st is the election date. It happens to be September 17th. I think when everyone starts their campaigns, Yisrael Beitenu will drop. I'm not sure they're actually going to pass the threshold.
All right.
But I do want to respond to one of the things that was mentioned here. We have a 3-phase process for choosing prime minister. First phase is the elections. The second is the president's residence, where you must get the most nominations. And then the third one is the Knesset vote. So I don't see a situation where Gantz is going to be able to pass either phase 2 or phase 3.
Okay,
so even if he gets phase 1 victory, you can ask Tzipi Livni. It doesn't help you.
Really quickly, 20 seconds.
So the question asked regarding your comment is, why didn't Netanyahu return the mandate to the president if he thinks that Gantz cannot build a government or form a government? Why?
Okay, but we just have a few minutes left. I want to show you the bottle cap challenge that is taking over Twitter has reached Israeli politics. The first to kick it off was Ehud Barak, and then Yair Lapid, and Sharon Haskell from the Likud. Let's have a look.
Bibi, drink something, relax. We're just getting started.
Why make things complicated? You vote for the blue and white, and you change the government.
What do you think of this? You're shaking your head?
I'm shaking my head because I'm disgusted, Ami.
Why?
You know, this is an election. Are we talking about issues or policies? The Israeli public are mad at us that we're giving them a second election this year, and we're dealing with bottle caps, for God's sake.
Go ahead.
There is a hashtag going throughout all the, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. It's called Everything Stupid.
Everything Stupid.
Yeah, that's like a big hashtag.
This belongs to that.
And I think, that's part of the same thing.
You're right. Just before we go, I mean, we saw Yair Lapid at least, but your party and Benny Gantz is being accused of kind of sleeping on the job. We're seeing Ehud Barak bring a lot of vitality to this race now, but when are you guys going to wake up?
I think that we're wide awake. We are in the streets of Israel. We see the heads of blue and white giving the interview. I'm here. I don't want to see the kind of temperature or attitude of Barak as Prime Minister. I want to see.
They're kind of sleepy?
I'm debating. I thought they were sleepy, but I saw people with signs on the way here.
Really? That was enough for you?
Even you're surprised. Oh, no.
No, those are my activists.
Oh,
I know.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know.
Go ahead.
Barak was the worst. He was the worst Prime Minister we ever had. He's the shortest tenured Prime Minister of all time. He couldn't make it to 2 years. He couldn't even beat Moshe Sharet. It's not a surprise to me that he's only getting 4 seats.
You might have to join forces with Barak. Would you agree with that?
No.
That he was the worst prime minister in Israel's history?
I don't give grades to foreign prime ministers, but I think that Barak is making the political map very clear. You have the left, where Barak wants to join Meretz and Avodah. We have this big centrist party, blue and white, and then you have the right parties. That means that, again, blue and white has to be the biggest party in order to form the next government and change Netanyahu as prime minister.
Okay, guys, that's all the time we have. It was fun. It was fun. All right. I want to thank my guests.
We should do the bottle thing.
We should do that. I wanted you guys to do it, but I forgot my bottle. All right. I want to thank my guests, Yorai Lahav Hertzanu, Azaria, and Jeremy Saltan. Thank you very much, guys. Always a pleasure to have you on the show.